So good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Namaste and a very warm welcome to all of you to the Blub World Web Talks 174th episode. In the last 173 episodes, we have talked to, interacted with nearly 3,000 plus school leaders on this very platform, where they have shared their ideas, opinions, innovations, and what all new are they doing in the K-12 space. So आप सभी का बहुत ज्यादा स्वागत है ब्लब वर्ल्ड वेब टॉक्स के 174वें एपिसोड में। इसके पहले 173 एपिसोड्स में हम लोग करीबन 3,000 से ज्यादा स्कूल लीडर से बातचीत कर चुके हैं, उनसे जानने के लिए कि वो शिक्षा को कैसे बदल रहे हैं और शिक्षा उन्हें कैसे बदल रही है। सो आज के अगले 60 मिनट जो आप हमारे साथ हैं, उसमें हम आप सबसे जानने की कोशिश करेंगे कि अब जब इतने बड़े लॉकडाउन के बाद में बच्चे वापस से स्कूल आएंगे और आ गए हैं, काफी जगहों पर, काफी जगह पे कोविड के चैलेंजेस भी साथ में खड़े हो गए हैं, and when now they are in a state to fight the board examinations, are they really in a state that they'll be able to manage their stress? Because when there was no lockdown, absolutely no COVID, it was already too stressful, and now is the situation improved or is it even worse? And in both the scenarios, what do you suggest? How should teens be tackling it? So most importantly, two things about the platform. Blub World Web Talks is a bilingual platform, so you can use English or Hindi, any of these two languages. Try sticking to these two. If you want, you can use a third one, but I won't get it. So please try using either English or Hindi so that it's more of a good conversation in the next 60 minutes. Most importantly, think of the Blub World Web Talks as a speaking sprint. It's not a speaking marathon. So once your speaking time is over, you might get muted. If you get muted, please don't get offended. It's just to keep the activity crisp, enjoyable, and entertaining for everyone. So thank you so much, all these amazing speakers, for joining us, and thank you so much for the audience and all the people who are listening to us on YouTube. You can subscribe to the channel, suggest topics, and keep conversing with Blub World on what do you want to hear next, and what's this that's keeping you awake at night, and what's that you want to listen on the next Blub World Web Talks. So once again, a very warm welcome to the 174th episode of the Blub World Web Talks. Let's start talking about managing stress during examinations, and most importantly in this topic, the chonk or the tadka of COVID and the lockdown that happened, and how are we and the teenagers handling it. Let me invite the first speaker for today, somebody who comes from a very conventional field of study that has been ridiculed, or rather made a lot of joke in the Bollywood. And most importantly, when we also talk of career advice, this is the first career that we want to negate, because now we all understand that it's kind of a conventional career choice, but still it's one of the most successful ones. Now, what does a person who takes care of so many children in their teenage, in the college space, have for teens in the schools to handle stress during their examinations? A very warm welcome, Mr. V. Jayakumar, the chairperson of the Department of Mechanical Engineering from Amrita Vishwavidyapeetham, Chennai, Tamil Nadu. Jayakumarji, over to you for the next 3 minutes. A very warm welcome.
Thank you, Mr. Daksh Gaur, for your invite, and my warm greetings and wishes to all my allied panelists. I wholeheartedly congratulate the entire Blub team, Blub World team, for all your meaningful, significant initiatives for the benefit of students and teens of this country. And Amrita Vishwavidyapeetham is, in fact, very happy to be associated in this noble journey. Fine. Coming back to the topic, stress is part of everybody's life, isn't it? For a student, it is about exam stress. By the way, let me ask the question, is exam stress such a terrible thing? There is a saying in English, tension is attention. So we need a certain amount of stress for effective functioning. It is this stress that finally makes us work towards the goal. If you do not feel stressed, you feel stress at all, either you are an absolute genius or you're a complete reckless person. So stress is good. So where is the problem with the exam stress then? The problem is the situation where the stress hinders the student from writing the exam to the best of his or her ability. And this is the common among many students. If you analyze the root cause of the stress, you will agree with me that we try to control the things which are uncontrollable. For example, for the students, the things that are not under control, or is or a rank, is or score, marks or grade, whether she can be a topper or not, What about she will get the college admission into this course or not? These are not uncontrollable. So for students, unrealistic expectations of the parents and peers and thinking about the outcomes that are not under their control. And at times, some lack of preparations are the core root causes of the stress. Okay, if so, how to deal the stress? I have, I would suggest the student to remember ABCD, too short. A for aware. Be aware that it is very natural to feel stressed. You are not the only person feeling this. Come on, tell this to yourself often. If you are conscious about this, you have taken the first step to direct your stress to productive use. So that is A for you, A for aware. Now B for believe. Believe in yourself. Believe in your ability and tell yourself that you can do it. Be positive, stay optimistic even through tough times. For example, instead of feeling upset over a bad grade or bad mark in one exam, try to maintain a positive attitude and look at ways to improve the next cycle. C for cultivate an order or routine. This is where the effective timetabling, scheduling comes into picture. Stop procrastinating. Take one step at a time. You have to make strike a balance between school workloads and so-called tuition, competitive exam, coaching classes workloads. Striking a balance is the key, right? Then do, all the 3 R's, so-called revise, and revise. I know my senior colleagues are there. They will talk a lot about it. The finally D for you, do something you love. Distract yourself from academics. It could be listening to music, sharing your all thoughts to someone you trust will make immediately feel good. Exercise.
Thank you so much, sir. The first 3 minutes for us. So let me try to summarize what you said. You added some amazing things to the discussion and you have initiated in the most apt manner. So thank you so much for those ABCD points of it. So you started with that, is exam stress really a terrible thing? Should we really be, degrading it to such an extent when we all know that tension is a tension? Either you're reckless or you're genius. We try to control the uncontrollable outcome, and that's the Gita Gyan for India. Let's put your effort and let the result be taken care of by somebody else. And most importantly, what you concluded with, aware, believe, cultivate, and do what you love. It's a good way to tackle stress. But at this point, I would like to now invite the school leaders, because they handle stress in a very different kind of an audience. They handle stress in a kind of an audience who does not really understand how to segregate the stress from themselves. They normally keep both of these entities together and always stay confused that which ball do they need to handle when they talk about stress. Let me invite the first school leader for today. A very warm welcome, Dr. S. Sujata Senthil Kumar, the principal of Wales International School from Chennai, Tamil Nadu. Sujata ma'am, over to you for the next 3 minutes and a very warm welcome.
Thank you, Mr. Daksh, for anchoring this program for us and inviting me for being a guest speaker. It's certainly my pleasure to be a part of this program where we are pondering on thoughts and sharing our thoughts. And as a principal, I find that the pandemic has totally closed academics for almost 1.5 years. And it's a stress not only for the students, but also for the teachers. I'm sure all my colleagues are going to comply with my views. Teachers have also reached a saturation where they do not want any more online classes to happen, mainly because of the stress. They've all converted their lovely homes into classrooms. Their families have accommodated them so beautifully with their classroom teaching happening from their homes. I, as a principal, and my management have been very, very thankful to all the families of the teachers first, who have made online classes possible, and our teachers have traveled from, say, Skype classes to Zoom to Google Classrooms to whatnot, as far as technology goes. And they've all pitched in, irrespective of the age groups. And of course, when it comes to parents and children as stakeholders, they have also gone through equally emotional, mental, and social stress during the pandemic period, undoubtedly. And as Mr. Jay Kumar, I think, if I'm addressing him rightly, had said, stress has to be classified as positive stress and negative stress. And stress can be translated into motivation and, motivate children to achieve. That kind of positive stress is something very, very important to be prevalent amongst teenagers, and that leads to healthy competition as well. But the kind of stress that children have gone through this pandemic time, the laid back attitude and distraction to video gaming and excessive usage of electronic gadgets, all these has led to a lot of negative stress for the teachers, for the parents, as well as the children, because there wasn't nothing as a schedule. They did not have proper classrooms and regular timing. And today it's such a wonderful scenario to see my school with all the smiling faces, and we had issued badges, one of it which I'm wearing. Yeah, it's time up. Okay. Maybe I will take turn to come back to say both negative and positive stress is very, very important to tackle with by all the stakeholders. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, ma'am. The first 3 minutes are over. I think we'll again get time in the open floor at the end of it. So let me try to summarize what you said. Teachers also went through a lot of stress. Now they do not want to simply, take on more effort in getting back into those online classes. They already had a very big hipping, hopping journey in the different platforms that they experienced in the online classes, from Zoom to Google Meets to Microsoft Teams, now all sorts of other LMSs that they're experiencing. They themselves have become the technology natives in the education space. They now understand every nook and cranny of the digital classroom that exists there. Positive stress classification is something that's quite important. I think that's a very important point in the discussion, that whenever anybody is experiencing stress, I think Jai Kumarji also mentioned that, and you also took the point forward, that how can we tell students to identify what's positive stress and what's negative stress. And during the lockdown, we all experienced that negative stress coagulation. So we now need to counter that, find out more ways of dealing with it. Thank you so much, ma'am. Let me invite the next speaker for today, Ms. Bharti Tanvi, the principal of Gangotri International Public School from Bangalore, Karnataka. Bharti, ma'am, over to you for the next 3 minutes. Please unmute your audio, and a very warm welcome.
Namaste, everyone. Good evening. I do agree that stress will be there. It is unavoidable. It used to be there earlier also. And especially in this situation, it could be little more. But now children are with us for about 3 months. So it's almost, we are back to normal. And they know that they have the exam. CBSE has been kind enough to reduce the syllabus also for 10th standard. And exam is also term wise. So it's a very limited portion what they have to do. So keeping this in mind, we have been always telling the children that they should prioritize their revision and they should mix up a heavy subject and a light subject so that they revise properly. And once the practice is there is only one thumb rule: practice, practice, and practice. So they will definitely be able to deal with the things. And it's better to take the exams as part of life. It's like no point in giving over the sleep. Children should be sleeping at right time, have enough sleep, enough rest, have proper food. Definitely they should have some recreation also, like initially sir had told, that do something you love. They need to have some break. If they study without break, that is what will lead to a stress which they might not be able to handle. One break they need to take, that is to take break from social media. That is something very important. Now we have certain apps also which are encouraging students to take break from social media. They can download whole app which will reward them through Amazon or the movie tickets or the other things which they can avail after the exams. So they need to be patient enough to avoid this. Secondly, they should not use their mobile phones for to search anything in Google or anything. Laptop is good if they need to search anything, but just not even a week is left now. They should be only practicing what they know. But mobile is one which will be always giving some signal that some message has come, some mail has come. So those notifications are very disturbing for us also as adults, and for students all the more, who may not know how to tackle this situation. And there are times when something is asked to them which they might find it difficult to say no. So they should learn to say no. If they agree to say yes to that, they are saying no to themselves by not giving time for studies. Thank you very much, all of you.
Thank you so much, Bharti ma'am. Let me try to summarize what you said. In 3 months, schools have nearly come to a normalized situation. And with the limited curriculum that's going to happen in the board examination, it's going to be a quite an easier, duration of time for the children to appear for these examinations. But still, they now need to understand the complete examination prerogative from a different perspective, because now they have to prioritize topics. Now they have to understand that how do they have to revise. Most importantly, when they're plugged into those technology platforms, either their phones or their laptops that they've been using for their online classes, how do they unplug themselves from those devices and understand that don't entertain yourself from that. Take education or take the content which is knowledge for you in your examinations and just remove yourself from that zone, because this is the most critical element that we as adults are also not able to do, because we also look out for entertainment in those same devices. So this is going to be quite a glitch for these teenagers. So thank you so much, ma'am. Let me invite the next speaker for today, Mrs. Anitha Daniel, the principal and head of school for Archie Global School from Chennai, Tamil Nadu. Anitha ma'am, over to you for the next 3 minutes. Please unmute yourself and a very warm welcome.
Thank you. Thank you, sir, Mr. Daksh, and the team. It was a very pleasant evening for us to be together, and a big round of applause, a silent clap from all of us for BLUB and for this initiative that you are taking to take all these kind of initiatives across to children. And there are more avenues for them to look into their YouTube instead of simply searching for unwanted stuff. When they come across things like this, they will get it straight from the horse's mouth. They are listening to all the heads of institutions. And, sometimes we as parents, when we tell our children, they're not prepared to listen. But when another mother, when the friend's mother talks to them, they are able to listen and they are convinced. So it's just like that. Maybe my students may not take it from me, but if they listen to Mrs. Sujata or Mrs. Bharti, probably they will be able to, oh yeah, somebody's putting some sense into me. That kind of initiative is what is happening. And for the moment, since we are a school, I'm heading a school with just grade 6 now, and we are in the growing process. I do not have any students taking up any exams, but yes, I have worked in institutions with 34 years of experience. I have seen the stress that goes into children from the school, from the parent, from the peers, from themselves, from the society, from all over, especially when they are taking up examinations. Yes. And stress is nothing but slowly you take a recline and enter into a slow and steady growth. That's stress. You come out of the stress in a slow and steady fashion. And one thing that I would like to tell all children during stress, take a break, have a Kit Kat. Have a Kit Kat is nothing but eat plenty of dark chocolates. Actually, it helps. And you offer a chocolate to any child who is sitting and really banging their heads against their books or the walls and the bed. They are at the dining table, they're walking, they're on the terrace, they're on the couch, they are sitting on the floor, anywhere. When they're sitting and learning, really struggling to memorize or trying to get something into their head, just give them a chocolate. Ease them out, and yes, the chocolate takes the work of what we have to do. It takes care, And that is what I would like to share in the preliminary talk, that the 3 minutes, the very short 3 minutes that I've been given. So thank you, thank you.
Thank you so much, Anita ma'am. And I think you gave some two very good points that can be taken ahead in the discussion. That first, just change the faces, the content remains still the same. But yes, students might believe somebody else telling them the same thing and not taking it seriously from their own parents or their own school leaders or teachers. And second, whenever you see anyone in stress, give them a break, let them have a Kit Kat, or not at least a Kit Kat, give them a dopamine shot, give them some kind of sugar that, relaxes them, eases them out, and again, rejuvenates them to go back and handle that stress. Take that content once again. Thank you so much, ma'am. Let me invite the next speaker for today, Dr. Sunanda Casey, the principal of Nehru International School from Coimbatore, Tamil Nadu. So, Sunanda ma'am, over to you for the next 3 minutes. A very warm welcome.
Good evening, Daksh. Can you hear me? Hopefully, yeah. Thank you for inviting me over. That I could meet some very eminent other panelists as well. As far as stress is concerned, I think children as well as teachers have gone through enough stress during the pandemic, going through a very, very tough phase. And matter of fact, when the kids came back, I think they are much more relaxed now, happier now. And fortunately for CBSE, UPSC, the portions are sort of reduced. And I don't see the same kind of level of stress that I've seen earlier. So it seems to be much less. And even then, we have always told our children to have good food and, to sleep well. I think that is one thing that children often tend to forget. So we tell them to have a good night's sleep and, to stop studying at some point of time towards the end of the day so that they can just relax and then come in, just recall and then come in for the exam the next day without much stress on it. And I'm so glad ma'am mentioned about, Anita ma'am mentioned about chocolates. I think that definitely works a lot, especially those kind of foods that help you feel good. That definitely help in, reducing the stress quite a bit. And sometimes we used to get these children to do a little bit of exercises even in school when, when they come in. A simple kind of simple exercises that will just help them feel relaxed. Maybe, just even a kind of a little bit of meditation also sometimes helps for the children. And another important thing that I found that really helps the children, especially during the board exams, just before they go for the exams, we have this little short prayer that is done by a teacher with just simple words, saying, help us write the exam well and things like that. Somehow I feel children feel a lot relieved and, they feel good. And somehow it reduces the stress for the children as well. I think right now, I don't see the same kind of stress that I've seen earlier. It's much more reduced now. And, especially after the kind of difficult phase that we've gone through. And this is mainly what we've been telling children to just take it easy. And we stress on what is called, as I mentioned, the positive stress. It actually helps if you're a little in having a little bit of positive stress to push you along to do your best in whichever work you have taken up. So that is something that we have always stressed on, and that helps a lot for all these children out here.
Thank you so much, Sunanda ma'am. Let me try to put together what you said. Already the complete education ecosystem has gone through a lot of stress while it was the lockdown and the COVID, because we all learned technology, came on with those online classes, trying to figure out what would be the right content to keep children engaged and educating them in the right sense so that the learning gaps can be reduced. And with these kind of learning gaps that are existing, at the moment, the stress is a little low because the curriculum is small. CBSE has accommodated things. Children are in quite a comfortable state when you look at the kind of stress that they had earlier when they had to give those exams once in a year with that complete curriculum in one single shot. The chocolate remedy, I think, appealed to everyone, and I think all the kids will be getting a lot of chocolates after this video. Either it's the parents or the teachers, everyone will be giving them that chocolate shot. And small little exercise, and finally, the small little effort to make God responsible. Let's pray a little bit more so that He takes care of you during the examination. So pray a lot and a lot more chocolates. You will find a good way to de-stress and handle your examination. Thank you so much, ma'am. Let me invite the next speaker for today, Mr. Philip Gomez, the principal of Zain Public School from Chikkaballapur from Karnataka. Philip, sir, over to you for the next 3 minutes. A very warm welcome.
Thank you, Mr. Daksh Gaur, and a very warm good evening to my principals who are here and my colleagues, I can say. So the stress we are talking about is that the extra force that we have to undergo. I think all of you will agree, because all these days we were at home working. Online classes were somehow going on, but some places it was lagging behind, means that effectiveness was not there. One thing. The second thing is that I am working for a state syllabus school in Karnataka, and we are having syllabus to be covered. What is supposed to be covered in 10 months has to be covered now in 7 months. So that is meaning that we are facing a lot of stress, extra stress, I can say. Some of the teachers who spoke from CBSE syllabus schools, they are saying that it is a reduced burden for them because syllabus has been reduced or deleted. But for us working in the state syllabus, it's really tough time. Not only that, teachers who were sitting at home, some of the schools, they were not paid well. And again, we are come to a place where only 50% was paid, 75% was paid. I think from this month, full salary will be paid. So there are a lot of places where adults are facing stress, means teachers are facing stress. So how do you try to remove the stress from the students? Mean that you have to explain whatever you have faced when you were children. When we were children, that means that we were trying to manage the time. Means the time, whatever the time that was given, in the time, whatever we could do, that time we were trying to cover in a everyday basis. Means that time sense has to be followed and have a realistic goal. Do not have a goal that is being set by the parents or the relatives. That is what is giving more stress on the students. That's what is my humble opinion. And correct me if I am wrong, because parents are having a different opinion than the students themselves. So we all have to understand and work as a team, whether it is the teachers, whether it's the principals or the parents, we all work as a team and give them a realistic view of how much they can achieve and what is their target. And of course, as the doctor pointed out, stress is good. Beginning gentleman had spoken, but I am not remembering his name. So he had spoken about the stress, whether it is negative or positive. Of course, we are all positive. Anytime. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. And I think you added a very different picture to the complete discussion. And I think that is the reason when we design web talks, we normally try to bring in the people from varied backgrounds, from varied ecosystems, so that the opinion that we build during these conversations is not unilateral. It has all the aspects to it. When you look at state curriculums, they haven't reduced it. They want you to complete the curriculum within a reduced time. And most importantly, it's an ecosystem which is not very resource enriched. So they have been feeling a lot of stress as the teaching community, as the people, all the other stakeholders, because in this ecosystem, the stress is a little different from the normal exam stress that we might be facing. I would not rather belittle the exam stress, but yes, this is something that we also must be knowing, because this also is a part of life. So let's try and accommodate more and more ways of giving children more and more opportunities to understand that life is not just what you see and experience. It's far more than what you can actually touch upon. So thank you so much, sir. Let me invite the next speaker for today, who had their perspective, Mrs. Sugandhi Vishwanathan, the principal of Eklavya International School from Pondicherry, Puducherry. Sugandhi, ma'am, over to you for the next 3 minutes. A very warm welcome.
Namaste. So I've been listening to educationists, and thank you, Daksh, for beautifully facilitating the entire discussion. So, as soon as I got this call regarding examination stress, I quickly walked into the classroom to get a fresh, instead of imagining what the stress is all about, I wanted to ask these stakeholders where the stress is coming from. So it was the teachers I asked, and I also asked the students. Okay. We've all been in similar situations. This stress is a little different. Okay. For the teachers, they did take classes, but they were not sure that the students were listening. The teachers covered the portion, but was the portion uncovered, and did the children discover everything? Was the question in everybody's mind. Then for the children, they are children after all. So all they wanted to do was mute, switch off the video during the class, have fun playing video games because the mobile was there with them, the laptop was with them, little knowing that all the stress is going to fall on them. And now today I went. I said, your exams are sitting on your head. Okay. And then I stopped myself. You know why I stopped myself? Because this fear is being induced only by us. That the exams are just sitting on their head. Okay. So I rephrased. I said, how well prepared are you for these exams? And are you stressed? Then, one child put up his hand and he told me, ma'am, I'm responsible for this stress. Very gutsy answer. And I said, you don't blame anything. You don't blame COVID. You don't blame. No, everything was there. You had served it on a buffet. I didn't take it. So it's my problem. So I'm responsible for this stress. So what will you do? Whatever I can do. I thought we are talking so much about stress and children have their own way of combating stress. That was one thing. Then there was another, this Padaku fellow, the one who comes first in the class. His, as the exams are nearing, his face is shrinking smaller and smaller and smaller. His body was getting stiffer and stiffer. And so I picked him up. And said, look, this fellow, I know in my mind, the one who answered first is a happy-go-lucky fellow who will get something in 75 and 80. Okay, this person intends to get 99. Okay, I said, come on, are you stressed? Yes. Time up? Okay, should I continue or?
Last 10 more seconds, ma'am.
Okay. He said 2-3 things which I would elaborate on. He said the consequence. I'm worried. I am worried about my self-esteem. I'm worried about how I'm going to be judged. And I'm worried about the fear factor I have within me. So I wrote it on the board. So I have written it here also. See, all that. I wrote it down so that I can actually bring it fresh to this table. Thank you so much, Daksh, for allowing me to share. I will share a little more later.
Thank you so much, Sugandhi ma'am. And I think you added the student perspective to the discussion. You brought the feedback onto the table that what exactly is going on in the minds of these students. Teachers, when they taught, they actually did not have any measurement of was learning actually happening. They were completing the teaching process or part of it, but they were not sure of the learning, and they were not even in a state to identify the learning gap because they were not able to evaluate students in the way that it used to happen in the classroom. Most importantly, you talked about the kind of students that we have in class and the kind of responses that they have to the same kind of stress. Somebody who's kind of a middle-level performer was ready to take on that challenge because he knew that whatever happens, his self-esteem is something that would not get impacted with the result that comes out. But somebody who's the high-performance learner had his image attached to those numbers or that marks that will be coming. So I think this thing we need to tell students that this is the precise differentiation that you need to do, that you as an individual and you as a student who gets marks. So these are two different personalities. Don't mix them into each other and put yourself in a bad situation. Thank you so much, man. And I think you brought in the point of self-esteem and teaching students that don't let that get impacted with the marks that you get. Thank you so much, ma'am. Let me have the next speaker for today, Mrs. Rukmani Korpulu, the retired principal from Siddhi Model Senior Secondary School, Chennai. Rukmani, ma'am, over to you for the next 3 minutes and a very warm welcome.
A very good evening, and thank you, Mr. Daksh, for anchoring such informative and useful sessions for students. And I'm also happy to be part of this session. Well, exam time has never been easy, and facing an exam without stress is next to impossible because stress is part of life. We should learn how to manage it. Well, as per Erskine-Dodson law, he states that mild amounts of physical and emotional stress will always deliver better performance, while excessive stress will only increase our anxiety, which is detrimental and leads to unpleasant situations. These negative stress retains the chemicals that will never allow us to relax. As a result, we get into a very permanent state of stress. Now, eventually, this permanent state of stress will convert our challenges to threats. And we also doubt our ability to perform small things. And problems appear to be insurmountable. So it is very important to stay very cool, positive, and collected to face the hard-nosed competitive world with confidence. By and large, students do experience academic and social stress. They lack in organizing or prioritizing tasks, chalking the right method for preparation, time management, and building proper support system, be it pre-pandemic or post-pandemic, the problems are the same. Now, one has to be very realistic in setting goals. And also, they should learn how to convert tasks into manageable steps. One should not focus too much on the end product. Rather, they should be able to focus on the trajectory that is leading to the goal. They must take small steps, one step every day to reach the goal. And most importantly, they should develop self-talk or affirmations that build their self-esteem, which is very important. Now, the first and foremost strategy is to remain organized or getting started. Of course, everyone knows how to revisit the syllabus and things like that. The most important thing is they should chalk out or enumerate the chapters that needs to be dealt with on priority basis. Oh my God. Okay. They should, I think this is very important. They should take up their mock test every now and then, and they should not be disturbed with low scores, nor should they become very excited with high scores, because being stable and positive is very important. And also, like every task should be treated as a game, and they should always look at difficult situation as learning opportunities to better themselves. Thinking it's all easy is job half done. Habitual procrastinators, the most important category of students we need to deal with, should not be worrying about doings of their past, as it will only increase their stress levels. They can mitigate the chances of not clearing the exams by looking at chapters that are small and easy to remember, so that they can face the exams with, more confidence. The most important thing that I would like to stress upon is they should have enough rest.
Thank you so much, Rukmini ma'am. The 3 minutes were over. So what you talked about was mild amounts of stress will always help bring out positive outcomes. Staying cool is important. Academic and social stress, focus on the journey and develop self-talk to foster self-esteem. I think there's a very important point that we must be talking to students, not just before the examination. Because as of now, whenever we start talking about stress, this in itself becomes a stressful activity for students, because they understand this is the preparation of the Mahabharata that's going to come on. So I think this should be, made a part of their staple everyday academic diet, that, okay, this is something, managing yourself is also a part of the curriculum, so that you do not get into a completely different limbo when the examinations come up. Thank you so much, Rukmini ma'am. Let me invite the next speaker for today, Mrs. Liggy Suneet, the principal of Global English School from Calicut, Kerala. Liggy ma'am, over to you for the next 3 minutes. A very warm welcome.
Thank you so much, Daksh. Happy evening to all the eminent panelists over here. So I'll be listening to all your words from the last few minutes. Yes, we all talk about positivity, but the term positive has become negative only during this time, during the pandemic. But one positive aspect of pandemic is that we had become technically advanced and our kids have become much more experts and tech savvies during this time. That is a positive aspect of it. And right now we are in a place and pace whereby our children are facing exam. Me being from a Cambridge International School, this is not our time of examinations, and we do have exams in the month of January. But let me tell you, last 2 years of pandemic, we did have exams in the month of March. So we had a common way of strategy and to make them ease and peace and then comfortable so that they're very happy entering into the examination hall. So I take this opportunity to share the few tips with you. We usually practice 3 Ps: prepare, plan, and practice. The term exam itself is engraved in the minds of our kids from the very lower classes as something like a nightmare. And who is responsible for it? We, educators, has got a minor role into it. Society, of course, and parents too. The first thing is to eliminate the fear of examination. We know that we can't avoid examinations, as everybody said. Examinations and assessments are part and parcel of life. So please do prepare children not for exam, but to prepare for the life. Give them confidence to face the challenges of life. Stress comes out, but there is always a way out, how to deal with it. So coming to the examinations, now what we have to do is to create a conducive environment for them to learn all things in advance. Exam is one particular day. Few things that has to be taken care is before the examination, and only the 10% comes during the day of examination. So preparation and giving them confidence, giving them some mock tests and showing them the statistics, and be very transparent in the communication and motivating them at the topmost level which is possible. Make the child understand that each and everybody is unique. Never compare with others. You have to find out your inner potential and give them a shake hand or smiley if you're using a online platform. Give them applauses and smileys for each and every positive aspect of them, what they have done. And on the day of examinations, advise them to have ample rest and sleep before the day and come for the examinations. And the very point that usually what we say, this stressed out students or the ones who aim for higher degrees and marks and grades, is what they do, a common mistake that they do is immediately after the examination, they try to see the question papers and try to compare and see what their peers have done. This adds on the stress for the next day. So give them the confidence, yes, whatever has happened has happened. Now prepare for the next term examination with full vigor and josh or zeal, whatever it is. And then the last moment, and you say them, do it now. A 5 minutes of prayer, as other teachers have mentioned, and we term it as a cool off time, whereby we have some music and fun sessions with them and they go confidently for the examination. Thank you, Daksh Gaur, and over to you.
Thank you so much, Leggy ma'am. And I think a very important aspect that you brought into the complete conversation was, why do we do a bad brand positioning of examinations in the first place? Because we are the ones who tell them what an examination is. We are the ones who tell them this is how it has to be handled. And we tell them since they get incepted in the school, since the beginning. So why do we brand it in the wrong way? Can't we change the brand positioning? Can't we change the positioning or the branding of the examination word in itself? Because we never tell them that it's kind of a challenge. We always tell them that it's a problem that you have to face. So I think we also need to change the terminology and the kind of brand positioning that we have, put around examinations. So thank you so much, ma'am. Let me invite the next speaker for today, Mrs. Lalita S., the former principal of Oxford Public School from Bengaluru, Karnataka. Lalita ma'am, over to you for the next 3 minutes. A very warm welcome.
Good evening to one and all, including the teens, and a hearty welcome. With an experience of almost 38 to 39 years, I have counseled on this issue, but today's topic will be definitely different. First, foremost, never compare yourself to the teens, I'm telling you, with others, especially better than you during this tough time. You might prove the best one day or the other. Examination is only a milestone in the journey of education and not the destination, because you have to achieve more in life. So be cool, confident, and relaxed. To come out of your stress mood during exams, go for a walk do some exercises. You can even read some story or comics. Be honest, flexible. Speak to your parents, elders, and trustworthy close friends. Never, there is a need for you to skip. There's no need for you to skip meals, sleep, or even entertainment. Go ahead with it. We see that you recollect all your achievements till date. You have achieved so far. So be confident of your strengths and never expose your weakness during this period. Have a broad positive outlook throughout and never give room for negative thoughts and actions. Welcome good suggestions from all sources and always hope for the best. Never be a slave of stress, but try to master it. Last but not the least, I would like to say teens or any student for that matter should define, refine, design, and sign in for better opportunities ahead. Thank you, one and all, and my hearty thanks to the Love World Talks.
Thank you so much, Lalita ma'am. And yes, I think in the last 60 minutes, we have dramatically increased the coolness in all the students. We have told them to be super relaxed, have a lot of chocolate, stay super relaxed. Whoever is listening to us, if you're going to sit for the examination in the coming days, also do a little bit of study, because that might help you in your examination, and that will take care of your stress a lot better than all these options. But this specific talk was just to, give you a purview into the way people look at stress, the way we look at stress. When we talk of self-esteem, when we talk of brand positioning of the examination, when we talk of those chocolate remedies, and most importantly, when we talk of schools and when we talk of children who are not in a very resource-enriched environment. So from that complete value chain that started from one polar end of it going to the other polar end of it, we've listened to these amazing school leaders who have shared their ideas on how can you manage your stress. So now it's an open floor. If anyone of the speakers got muted, if you have any point to add to the discussion, you can unmute yourself. Only request, take just 60 seconds to put your important point ahead, because we'll be concluding the talk in the next sometime. You're free to unmute, just take care of each other so that you don't disrupt each other. I think Sugandhi ma'am wants to say something. Please, over to you, ma'am.
Yeah, thank you. I know advice is the last thing that we need. Children will not listen to advice. The only thing is, please research into what is giving you stress. Because I always talk from my purview, and I say, whenever I'm not prepared, I become very stressed. So are you prepared for the exam? That's one thing. And please let there be no differentiation between class 8 and class 10 and class 12. Let them go for a movie. I take my children for movies because I play badminton with them so that I can chill them up, just make them feel that there is no difference. So the day before the exam, we stand there chatting, discussing, come on, chill, do whatever you have done till now. What happens is the talk that I give, like Liggy said, the talk that I give on the first day of inception, when they come into it, and I say, you have a lot of responsibility and you have the freedom to enjoy. So decide what is it that you are going to enjoy and take up responsibility. This is one thing. We ensure that there is yoga, there's a lot of breathing exercise, and there's a lot of laughter. There's a joke session that happens for 10-15 minutes every day, so children can actually relax, and everything is organic. So children still are writing books when they are in their 12th. Children are still pursuing their chronicles and other work that they are doing. They're still going for skating. This thing, there is no difference. The only problem I face, and which I take it as a very pleasurable challenge, is that I get an opportunity to orient parents. Parents are the most stringed people, walking on tight ropes. From class 8, they will say, my child is coming to board exams. So I need to stop them there I tell them, come on, it's another exam that they are taking. Let them just study and let them take rest. So there are times that I tell my children to take more rest. I tell them nothing is going to happen because you're studying at 2 o'clock at night. Nothing you're going to remember.
Absolutely.
I don't
So
remember it.
I think you're talking about don't make special scenarios just for the examination.
Yes.
Stay cool down, make it a part of life, keep preparing throughout. And most importantly, when we talk of the parents, they're already walking on a very tight rope. I think they would need a little more love from all of the principals because they're already handling a lot of stress coming from both ends. I think Sujata ma'am wants to say something, ma'am, over to you.
Yeah, just want to add on to what Suganti ma'am had said now. Do something that he or she likes. It could be even passionate about, and just see how they prepare for their examinations. The pressure and the stress will automatically come down. And in fact, my children, I know how many of them bunked the online classes and indulged in gaming. Okay, so just to please them and make them feel happy, I had a worldwide global across gaming competition. And you should have seen how wonderfully they enjoyed conducting that virtually. And we charged participants, and we had so many participants across the world. So what is very, very important for parents and principals, teachers, first allow the child to explore his or her own likes and dislikes. And then, of course, educational boards do not permit us to give flexibility in conducting the exams or, compulsorily studying certain subjects up to class 10. But a positive motivation is very, very important from parents and children. And just to add that, I heard Rukmini ma'am telling certain affirmations that children need to tell. So we have introduced just very 5 simple affirmations, which I would like to share here. I'm wearing one of those badges. I am the best. I can do it. Today is my day. I am a winner. God is always with me. So every period, my children tell these affirmations, and then the teachers start their classes. This definitely motivates and gives a lot of mental relaxation to the teacher and the taught. Thank you so much, Daksh, for this opportunity.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Yes, these affirmative messages also, giving yourself a pep talk again and again, keeping yourself on track. And I think giving them the space to pursue their passion, because that will give them a small sense of achievement,
Absolutely.
making them more energetic and energized for preparing and handling that stress. Over to V. Jayakumar, sir. You wanted to speak? Over to you, sir.
Yeah,
please try to complete 60 seconds.
Exactly. Yeah, just a couple of points to add, Mr. Daksh. One is, I think it's Suganti madam mentioned about controlling or managing the gadgets, and she highlighted about some apps as well. People are prisoners of their phones. That's why they are called cell phones. Right? So do not let your gadgets control you. That's probably you could have one session particularly on this. I feel overcoming these gadgets is the biggest threat, or biggest challenge. Not only the students, all we have to overcome. So we all can be a champion. That's the first point that I would like to do. The second one is people have talked about the journey. In this student's journey, we need to communicate all the students clearly that they are not alone in this journey. We are all with them. So there are 3 important stakeholders here. Of course, the parents, teachers, and schools. So we have a huge role to play with them, identifying the signs of stress, communicating them, listening to them, providing academic and emotional support, avoiding, unrealistic expectation are all the key. That is what I feel. So they are not alone. We are with them in the journey.
Thank you so much, Jayakumar, sir. And yes, these cell phones, we need to break through them and find our own lives again. Over to Liggy, ma'am. Ma'am, please conclude in 60 seconds. We're nearly at the end of it.
Sure. I'll do it. 2 weeks before the HSCAC examinations, one parent came into my room and came with a request saying that my son has got selection to the national level for Taekwondo and he needs to go. But we know exams are important, and somehow we are trying to convince them, but he is very, very adamant on it. Ma'am, could you please convince him? So the first thing I said is, I'll talk to the boy and then we'll come back to you. But I did not talk to the boy, actually. I called the parent again the next day and requested them to send for their Taekwondo championship. Because I know the boy very well, and he is in utter pressure because that is his lifetime chance to go for the nationals and then going for the international Taekwondo championship. He came as the first runner-up and he did perform it for the exam very well. Later on, I said to the parent, like, I, as a principal, has not said a no to him. That made him more responsible. We'll talk about responsibility, but are we really making them responsible? Because at the end of the day, it is his responsibility, because I, being a principal, I supported him on well. So let us set examples in our ways of doing rather than being saying it. And usually when they end up their mock sessions and exams, I give them surprise breaks and ask them to go for a playtime, either whatever, football or cricket or whatever they want. And then I go and join with them, giving them some tea or snacks, which also comes as a surprise to them. So at that moment, they feel like, okay, even I am there, who is like sharing their stress and responsibility. So let us be more responsible, and then let us talk about the responsibility on children. Thank you, and over to you, Daksh.
So let's preach a little less and try to practice a little more. Over to Anita, ma'am. I'm 60 minutes over to you. 60 seconds, sorry.
I thought you were so magnanimous to me. Okay. Anyway, a chocolate for you for that. Just a very small suggestion that I would want to place now. If they have a balcony or if they have a garden, let them get into the habit of talking to a plant. That helps a lot. That's one thing. And the next thing is, if they have, they have a mirror at home, they can talk to themselves. That's the greatest. It's a challenge, open challenge from my side. You just try it, give it a shot. Even when we are stressed or something is, really eating into us or biting into us, just look at the mirror and say, talk to yourself. What am I doing? Why is this to me? How do I handle it? And when you talk to yourself, you will arrive at a situation where you are calmed down because you have someone to talk to. That other person is not going to respond, but you have someone to listen to, and that's yourself. That's one thing. And plants. Plants are a man's best friend, just like an animal. If they have a pet, they can take them for a walk, or if they have plants, they can just talk to it. And that's my summarizing comment. Thank you, Mr. Daksh.
Thank you so much, ma'am. I already know that a lot of school leaders want to speak next. They've already raised their hand, but we are nearly at the end of the talk. So I would not be able to accommodate more comments, but I think we would have been able to accommodate most of the comments. Now, since we're at the conclusion of this talk, Blub World as an organization works on a very simple idea. Every month, we try to find out teenagers who are doing amazingly well in life and try to share their stories with many more teenagers. Because what we felt was that whenever you want to talk to teenagers, you cannot give them archaic examples. You cannot tell them stories that they do not relate to. You have to tell them things that they understand, that they experience, and that comes from their own time zone. You cannot always feed them a time capsule that comes from the history, and you want that to work on them. So that's where we started this, and finding stories of teenagers that could be shared. So one such story for all of you before this call comes to an end. This story comes all the way from Melbourne, Australia, is of a teenager who started her painting career when she was just 9 months old. Had her first painting exhibit at the age of 4, which was an absolutely sold out show. Had a second exhibit at the age of 7 in one of the most respected galleries in Europe. And had one more show at the age of 9 that was in one of the most respected gallery in New York. She's a millionaire as of now. She has never went to a school. She's only 13 years old, and she is known as the world's youngest professional painter, and that was Elita Andre on the cover page of Blub World some months back. This is what we do every month, try to find teens who are doing superbly well in life and share their stories with many more teenagers. Around a year back, we thought, let's bring them together and create the world's biggest and the first Parliament of Teenagers. So we invite you, your students, anyone you think, any teenager who can improve the world with his or her ideas. The World Teen Parliament will train them, mentor them, and fund them. And they do not need to spend anything on the World Teen Parliament other than their intelligence. Thank you so much, everyone, for being a part of the Blub World Web Talks 174th episode. I hope you enjoyed, and all the listeners on our YouTube channel, stay connected, subscribe to the channel, keep commenting, keep sharing your ideas and more topics for the next Blub World Web Talks. I hope everyone enjoyed. Thank you so much for joining in. Have an amazing evening ahead. Namaste. and have a superb life ahead. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining. Thank you.